Yeah. So, good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning,
Yeah.
sir.
So today, yeah. Good morning, all of you. Good morning. So some students are entering. Okay. So today we will start with our formal syllabus in a lecture mode, right? So I'll just wait for 1-2 minutes because some students are entering. Okay. Okay, I think we should start now. Okay. So to start with, our major topic that we'll take up is measures of central tendency, right? Now, measures of central tendency is, before going to measures of central tendency and dispersion, there is another very important concept that is called the scales of measurement. So we need to understand this very well. What are the scales of measurement, right? So in statistics, we are having 4 scales of measurement. So I will describe each one of them one by one. Okay. So they are nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Okay. So nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Let me give you a brief explanation, then I will show you the slides. Okay. So what is nominal data? Okay, data. See, whenever we collect data, we need to understand the nature of the data, the scales of measurement. Very important. The first step in any statistical project, you need to understand your data, because you all know, I think, that data collection is a part of any project. So what will be my data? Whatever form you will collect, the data will come in that form, right? So let us understand the 4 types of data: nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Okay. So what is nominal? Nominal data is those data which are only, go for that. We mean for classification. Suppose I want to classify a system, say this class into male and female students, right? So my interest is, okay, to nominal data is just a classification of data on the basis of some characteristic. And suppose my now characteristics is gender. Okay. So gender is my characteristic. So if I take gender as characteristics, I will find 2 types of, category. Some male students, some female students, right? So gender has 2 category. So this data, suppose if I take my category as religion, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, and so on. So say 4 category. I divide my data. Some student will be Hindu, some may be Christian, some Muslim, some Sikh, right? So I divide my data into four categories. Okay, so only where we categorize the data, that is called a nominal data. Okay. Now our next, and this is the very basic level of data, right? Where we just simply get a classification, right? Nothing else. Now the next level of data is ordinal. What is ordinal data? Any ranking, right? Any ranked data. Suppose you are doing a research and you want to see the taste and preference. Okay, what is the taste and preference of customer X? So you go to approach to customer X. You ask them to rank and to among the 3 brands: Pepsi, Coke, and say 7 Up. So suppose he gives Pepsi as 1, Coke second, and say 7 Up third. So this is the data which is a rank data. Or suppose after your midterm, suppose I get the first student, second student, and the third student. Okay. So only I know, only in ordinal data, only we know the we know the order of data. I know that the first student is, better than the second student in terms of, say, if marks is the category to see a student is better or not. So first student in section H, okay, first student in section H, second student in section H, third student in section H. So I know student one, okay, or the first student is better than the second, and the second student is better than the third. So I have a rank, okay. Or suppose in any contest, okay, all this you will find now in this reality show, the contest, there are ranking first, second, third, okay. The contestant number, say 6 is first, and so on, 1, 2, 3. So any rank whenever we get, that is called a ordinal data, right? So these are very, very basic data, nominal and ordinal. Our next family comes from interval and ratio. Let us understand this too. What is interval data? Now see, if I want to study some temperature of, say, this week, right? Today is Friday. So I take the temperature of 5 days. Okay. Just let me open my paintbrush so that I can write something. Yeah. Can you see my board?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So no. Let me do one thing. Okay. Okay, I can write here. So just I am giving one example. Suppose Monday. Okay, Monday. Yeah. Suppose Monday. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, Thursday, Friday, or say 4 days. So Monday temperature today, these days are summer, right? Say 40 degrees centigrade. Tuesday is, say, a bit hot then. And suppose the rain occurs, it comes to 35. Okay, Wednesday. And in degree centigrade. Okay, all these are in degree centigrade. Okay. Thursday is, say, again a little bit of temperature soaring. So it is 37. So these are my 4, just to give you example, 4 days temperature. Now see, now all of you look. I can say here, I can say that Tuesday is 2 degree hotter than Monday, right? So here I can rank the data, which is the hottest day. I can rank Tuesday is the hottest, then Monday, then Thursday, then Wednesday. So I can rank this data, okay? And also, very important, I can also get the difference of temperature between any 2 days. I can say that Tuesday is 2 degree hotter. See, in the last class, I had only the rank of the students. Okay, first student, second student, third student, ordinal. But this, where the difference has a meaning, I know the difference, and the difference has a meaning. That is called a interval. So how many scales are there? Nominal. Let me write here so that you can. Nominal. My handwriting is not good in this board. So nominal, ordinal, interval. This is very important. So you need to understand. Very frequently we'll come across this concept. So first I start with this. Interval, ratio. So we need to understand what is nominal, what is ordinal, what is interval, what is ratio, and we need to understand the difference between each one of them. So nominal, we understood classification of data, only classification, nothing else, okay, or categorization. Ordinal, categorization in terms of rank, first, second, third, fourth, like this. Okay, ranking data, right? Now, third, interval. The example that I had given you, this one, the day's temperature. The day's temperature is Monday, 40 degree, Tuesday. So here I can both rank and the difference between any 2 day. I can also measure, right? So Tuesday is hottest, but how much hot than Monday? I can say that. I can say Tuesday is hotter than Monday from this data. This much I can say.
Yes, sir.
And how much? How much? That also I can say. Yes. Please note, in ordinal data, I could not say that. I had only first, second student, third student. I did not have any data. I had the ranking. I know the first student is better than second. I know the second is better than third, but by how much, that I don't know. But here in interval scale, I very well know that my Tuesday is the hottest day and Tuesday is 2 degree hotter than Monday. Clear? And a very important thing, interval scale does not have an absolute zero, right? Suppose you have gone to Simla, right, for a tour, and the temperature is 0 degrees centigrade. Okay, think of winter, the winter season, December, January in Shimla, and you are in Shimla and the temperature is 0 degrees centigrade. So what does it means? Does 0 degrees centigrade means absence of temperature?
No, sir.
Yes, Sushant.
No, sir.
No, right? It means what? 0 degree means what?
Sir, it is very cold.
Cold. Obviously, there will be temperature, right? There will be temperature, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. But I say that I am having zero money. What does this zero means?
Sir, you have no money.
I have no money. Okay. Or I am having 100 rupees. I have given it to Sushant. Now I am how much I had 100. How much money I had now after
Zero.
giving zero? This zero is absolute zero. Are you getting me? So you have to understand again, please try to understand the difference. I'm trying to make you understand the difference between interval and ratio, right? So these two are clear, I think, very simple. Nominal, ordinal is clear, I think, no doubt. I will give you the formal definitions, don't worry. Just I am discussing, so that discussions are very important. See, I can give you the definition, you will get that in the book. That will not suffice, right? So now next, interval ratio, right? Interval ratio. So this I gave you an example of interval. Now see, now let me take another, say, suppose any student, okay, any student one, okay, or some student, income of student one is say 20,000 rupees, okay, and the father's income, student's father income is 60,000 rupees. Is it okay? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the income. So I am talking now income, right? Okay. So now see, I can also in this data, in this income data, I can tell that the father is earning thrice than the student, right? I can say that. And I can also say that the father is earning 40,000 more than the student, a son rather, let me make it son, right? Father and son, okay, this is son. Okay, so father is earning 40,000 more, so difference is also there, and ratio has a meaning. Here the ratio has a meaning. Father's income 60,000, so if I take the ratio, what will be the income of father's income? What will be the ratio of father's income and son's income? Father by son will be 60,000 by 20,000. That is
3:1.
3:1. 3:1. Very good.
Okay,
so I can tell. So see, in ratio data. So another level. I am going another level. Interval. What I can do? I can rank. The difference has a meaning. right? But the ratio does not have a meaning, right? In degree centigrade, that 80 degrees centigrade is not twice of 40 degrees centigrade because there is no zero. And in ratio scale, there is a concept of absolute zero. I say another sun, very small sun, say another sun, this was sun 1. I say this is son number 2. Father is having 2 kids, 2 sons, and his income is 0. Fine. Now this son 2, what is the income of son 2?
0.
0. This 0 is a absolute 0. Please note here, this 0 is an absolute 0. That means no income. पढ़ाई कर रहा है अभी. He's okay. He's now studying. अभी पैसा नहीं earn कर रहा है. Student son 1 थोड़ा बड़ा है, income है 20,000 and father is earning 60,000, right? Oh, so 4 types of data, 4 rather scales of measurement, very important: nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, right? So I will give you now the formal definitions. I will give you these slides, don't worry. No need of writing also, you will get all these slides. If you want to write the main points. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If my screen vanishes, please let me inform. Okay, then and then. Okay, don't wait for somebody. Okay, so yeah. Okay, now let me stop also. No, let me explain you the nominal, ordinal, interval ratio. So now come to the formal definition. Now it will be clear. Okay. Now, nominal data is classified into categories: male, female, Hindu, Christian, Muslim. Okay. Say corona infected, not corona infected, classification. This is also, I think, how many of you got corona? I don't know. I got corona actually. So classification, any classification is called, say, eye color, gender, eye color. Some has blue eyes, some has brown, some black, right? In Western countries, you will find people is having blue eyes, okay, brown eyes. So eye color, if I say eye color, according to eye color, I can classify blue, brown, black, right? According to gender, male, female. According to religious affiliation, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Sikh. Okay. So nominal level data is classified into categories, and please look here, cannot be, let me take the pen, and look here, cannot be, oh, yeah. Where is my pen color? Is इसमें चल रहा है, not highlighted. I think now I got. Okay, cannot be arranged in any particular order. Can I arrange? Can I say my male are better than female students, or female students are better than male students? Right? No meaning. Can I say my Hindu students are better than Muslim students? Okay, I cannot make any order. I cannot make any order, right? Okay. Now come to ordinal. You come to ordinal scale. Ordinal scale involves data arranged in some order, but the differences between data values cannot be determined or are meaningless, right? So during a test of 4 drinks, just like I told you, you are doing customer preferences. For some customers, Sprite is the number 1, okay, 7-Up second, and so on. So there is a ranking data. So ranking data difference does not have any meaning. I cannot say, I cannot measure that rather, right? So ordinal level involves data arranged in some order. Order is there, right? I say here in this case, Sprite is better than 7-Up. Okay, 7-Up is better than Orange Crush, right? This I can say, but I cannot say by how much it is better. Okay, Okay, the differences between data are meaningless. Now come to interval, and these are according to order. So this is number one. Also, you should remember the order, one step ahead. Now in third, interval level. Interval level data, similar to the ordinal level, almost similar, with the additional property that meaningful amount of differences between data values can be determined, right? There is, look, the last point, there is no natural 0 point, size 0. Yes, in Bollywood, in fashion industry, size 0. What does size 0 means? Does size 0 means no size? There
Yes,
is
sir.
some size, right? Okay, so in fashion industry also size 0, but any in temperature 0, there is not, this is not an absolute 0, right? Absolute 0 will come where? In the ratio scale, right? So intervals level similar to the ordinal level with the additional property that meaningful amounts of difference between data values can be determined. Just like I determined Tuesday is 2 degrees hotter than Monday and so on. So I know the meaningful difference. I know the meaningful difference. And finally, the ratio level and the highest level of data is called ratio level. The highest level of data is called ratio level. So the interval level with an inherent 0 starting point. Okay, ratio level is as good as interval, but only difference is that there is a starting point 0, absolute 0, zero money, zero income. Okay, uh, so 0, any quantity that is 0 is will have is called ratio. Difference and ratios are meaningful for this level of measurement. Monthly income of surgeon, distance traveled by the employees, right? By the salesperson, right? Distance traveled. Somebody has not traveled any. Somebody has traveled, say, very long. Any salesperson has got a very big area. He has to travel, right? But somebody has got a very small area. Somebody is sitting at office and doing cold calling. Okay. So that is called ratio level. Now let me stop, and is it clear? Nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Now I ask me any question. Yes, please ask. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Nominal,
Yes, sir.
ordinal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very
Yes,
nice.
sir.
Now I will start with our mean median mode, that is measures of central tendency. So let us start. So can you see my screen now?
Yes,
I'll be
sir.
Yes, sir.
switching every now and then. Okay, sometimes I will open the board, sometimes PPT, sometimes I will go to Excel also. Okay, so I'll be switching like anything. Okay, let us start with measures of central tendency. Okay, okay, fine. So characteristics of the mean. If you see, the arithmetic mean is the most widely, the mean median modes. Let us start with mean, is the most widely used measure of location, right? It requires the interval scale. Okay, look here, all of you. Are you seeing this interval scale? Can I calculate the mean for nominal data? Can I calculate the mean of male and female students here? No meaning, only categorization I have done, na? Male, female. Okay, I cannot take the average of the ranks. Okay, but I can take the average of the interval or ratio. Here it is ratio का भी हम ले सकते हैं mean. Okay, so its major characteristics are, all of you look here, its major characteristics are all values are used. If I want to calculate the average height of the class, I need to have the data of all the 60 students. I cannot say I cannot leave any one of you. I need to measure each one of your height, write that, sum up, divided by the number of students, say 60. I will get the average. So all the values are used. It is unique. It is unique. Unique means only one. Suppose I am teaching in two sections. Okay. So section D and H. So H, if I calculate the mean height, will be unique. In D, the mean height will be unique. In A section, the mean height will be unique. In every section, if I measure the height, unique value, unique and only one value will come of the mean. Okay, there cannot be two means. So it is unique. and the sum of the deviations from the mean is 0. All of you look at this property. This is a very, very harmful property also, but useful also. Somewhere it is harmful, somewhere it is useful. Okay. So the sum of the deviations from the mean is 0, right? So if I take series, number series, and if I take the mean, and if I subtract the from each one of the data, the mean, I will get some number. So some negative will come, some data will be above the mean, some data will be below the mean. So some will be plus, some will be minus. If I take the addition of that, it will be 0. Okay. So the sum of the deviations from the mean, okay, the sum of the deviations from the mean is 0. Okay, and already we discussed, it is calculated by summing the values and dividing by the number of values. So what is the formula? What is the formula of mean for ungrouped data? Please look here. I think yesterday I explained in the tutorial class, right? What is ungrouped and what is grouped? Yeah, somebody raised hand. Yes, Saurabh?
Sir, please re-explain the deviation point in the previous slide.
Deviation. Deviation I will show you with let me show you with one example, it will be clear. Yeah, just 1 minute. I will show you with it. Just 1 minute. Hold on. You will understand better if I show you with data, right? Yeah, all of you look here. This one I can, so yeah, here I can see. See, all of you. Suppose this is my data set. I will come to this data set, but just as Saurabh has asked, see, this is a data. This is a data of how many cups of coffee sold in 5 days or something. Okay, 5 days. These are the coffee cups sold. 20 cups, 40 cups, 50 cups, 60 cups, 80 cups, and so 5 days, right? So these are my X. These are my data point. What will be the average? What will be the average of this data? If you calculate this, sum of this and divide it by 5. So you will get 50. Okay, if you take the average, X bar is 50. Now, what does it mean? If I take the deviation, from the data point, okay, of the mean, that means X minus X bar. Clear? X minus X bar. So what is X minus X bar? Deviation from the mean. How much?
Minus 30.
Minus 30. So in this way, if I take the deviation of each one of the points, all the 5, I will get some deviations.
Yes, sir.
Some will be minus, some will be plus, it may be 0 also, right? So these are my deviation. And now if I take the sum, if I take the sum, please see, what is the sum? Please add this. You take any series. This is a property of, mean, that if you take the difference, from the mean, you will, and then take the sum, it will always be 0. Is it clear, Saurabh?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So let us go back. I will come to this. I will again explain. But good, you asked.
Yes, sir. I get it what I want.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I know what you want also. Very good. So keep on asking questions. See, more you ask, more you learn actually. So don't stop questioning. Even if I don't know, I will tell you next day also later on. It's no harm. But okay. So what is the formula? Okay, let us come to the formula. So okay, let me again tell you, there will be huge number of formulas in this total syllabus. Minimum 70 to 80 formulas are there. Okay, and there is no other option but to mug up. You have to memorize the formula. Okay, no other way, because generally we do not provide the formula in the exams. Generally we do not provide. Okay, now yeah, formula. So very simple formula of mean. So what is the formula of population mean? It is the sum of all the population values divided by the total number of population values. So this is given by sigma x. What is sigma x? X1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 data suppose. So summation of x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5. The summation of x1 to x5, suppose, in the series, divided by n, right? N is the number of data points. So what is mu? Mu represents the population mean. N is the number of values in the population. Just like the example I gave you, there were 5 data points. So n is 5. X represents any particular value. Sigma, all of you note here, sigma is the symbol of summation. And sigma x means is the sum of all the x values in the population. Okay. So that is population mean. Now let us come to the properties. Okay, what are the properties? Every set of interval and ratio level data has a mean. Okay, only interval and ratio, nominal and ordinal, will not have a mean. Nominal and ordinal will not have a mean. All the values are included in computing the mean. A set of data has a unique mean. Yes, this is the most important point. All of you pay your attention. Pay your attention. The mean is affected by unusually large or small data values. Okay, mean, right? So suppose in a data set, right? I give a data extremely high. So what will happen to the mean? The mean will shift to a considerable extent, right? Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.
3.
1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, 15 by 3 is 3. Okay, 3 is the mean. Now I add 1. Suppose I add here 1, say 100. Okay. Now what is my mean? 115 by 6. Okay. So it is a very large number. See how my data point were in the range of within 1 to 5. This was my data range, but I added an extremely huge number, right? So my mean has shifted from 115 by 6 is now the mean. How much is that? 19
19.16.
point something. Okay,
19.16.
fine. 19.1. Let us try. Now see, considerable extent. Suppose if I make it 10,000, it will be a very big number. My mean has shifted. This is also called in statistics. I will discuss later on. This is also called outlier. Outlier is not in your syllabus, so I am not going into detail, but just you keep a track of this term outlier. Okay. Okay, so I think we are done. Arithmetic mean is the 0. Okay. Yeah, weighted mean. Let us talk of weighted mean. Yes. So there is another type of mean which is called weighted mean, a special case, right? Weighted mean of a set of numbers x1, x2, xn with corresponding weights w1, w2, wn is computed from the formula this. So till now what we were doing, we are simply adding x1. Suppose I am having 3 numbers, so we are just making x2 plus x3 by 3. Suppose I have to calculate the mean. So we are simply taking the sum and divided by 3 if there are 3 data points, right? But in case of weighted mean, what we do, we multiply by some weights, right? Where W1 is a weight, right? So this is a weighted mean. So W1 into X1 plus W2 into X2 plus W3 into X3 plus dot Wn Xn by W1 plus W2 plus W. So just a very small problem on this. Just I will show you this problem so that you understand. Suppose this is our problem. Just read this for 2 minutes. There is a typing error. It will be 25 actually. 25. Yeah, just go through this problem. Okay, have you gone through?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in this case, can I use the mean only, our simple mean?
No, sir.
So weighted.
No, sir, we can't.
Weighted mean, right? So very quickly, very simple problem. So just let me take 1 minute. That company pays its hourly employees, okay, pays its hourly employees in this rate, 16.5, 19, 25 per hour. There are 26 hourly employees, 14 of which are paid at the rate of 16 point differential pay rates, right? 10 of them, see, in an organization, different people are doing different level of work. So it's not that the CEO's pay and the the middle level manager, the pay will be same, right? Or the fresher who has joined 1 month before, the pay will be same, right? So there will be differential pay. The CEO's package will be 1 crore something. The middle level, his or her package will be something 40, 50 lakhs. And the junior who has joined, say 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, right? So this is differential. So if such cases are there, and you will face this sort of cases. So here you have to use the weighted mean. So here weight, this is my weight, 14. How many are getting paid at the rate of 16? 14. How many are paid at the rate of 19? 10. How many are paid at the rate of 25? It is 2%, right? So, and divide by the number of persons. So this is a weight. Okay. So if you calculate this, it is 18.1. So this is how we use this is one application of weighted mean also, right? Yeah. Now let me stop. Any question about mean?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I hope mean is clear. Okay, let us move to median. Yeah. So median, what is a median? The median is the midpoint of the values after they have been ordered from the smallest to largest, right? So median is the midpoint of the values after they have been ordered from the smallest to largest. So there are as many values, above the median as below it in the data array. So median is a positional average. Always remember this thing. Median is position and it is at the center. Okay, it is at the center. 50% data will be above the mean, 50% data will be below the mean. So there are, if you read this, there are as many values above the median as below it, right, in the data series, right? 50% above the data, 50%, yes, nothing.
Yes, sir. Sir, there are only two formulas in mean, weighted mean and population mean.
Yeah, I will come. There are some, I have not started grouped one. I will come to group.
Okay.
These are ungrouped, right? Okay. So the median is the midpoint of the values after they have been ordered from the smallest to the largest. Okay. So for an, this is also important, for an even set median will be arithmetic average of the two middle numbers. Okay. So if, let us see one example of median. Okay. Okay, let us see the properties first. So there is a, again, there is a unique median for each data set. It is not, yeah, see now all of you, this you should understand. This you should understand. It is not affected. Mean was affected and I showed you with a data set also. Mean is affected, but median is not affected by extremely large or small values and is therefore a valuable measure of central tendency, right? So mean is a, median is a very, very valuable because it does not shift. It does not shift whatever large the number it is, right? This is very important. All of you please remember this point, right? This is the most important point rather. Now, third, it can be computed for ratio level, interval level, and ordinal level, right? So we can compute it for ratio, interval, and ordinal, median. Now, it can be computed, so this is not required. Okay, now see, these are the, suppose, ages of a sample of college students. So what will be the median?
21.
21.
Yes. What will be the 21? Very good. So see, first what we will do, we will arrange it according to the ascending. Okay. we will arrange the data in ascending order, and then we will see the middle one. Now see, two cases may occur. Here what happened here, this was a odd series, and odd series will always have only one middle number. So here it is simple. But suppose I am having this data. So here median is 21. But suppose I am having this sort of data set, right? So here what we will do, we'll arrange them in ascending order. So 73, 75, 76, 80, we arranged, and then we take the average of the middle two, that is 75 and 76. If we take the average, we get the
75.5.
So two cases may occur. 75.5. So two cases may occur. The series, it may be, here it is odd series, odd number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you count, and here it is even series, even series. What is the count? 4, right? Okay, so that is there. Mode is very simple. I think mode will not take much time. So mode is the value of the observation that appears most frequently. What is mode? Mode is the value of the observation that appears most frequently. Okay. So just you can see a data in this data set. What is the mode? See this data set. What is the mode? The number which occurs maximum number of times. Which number occurs maximum number of times?
60,000.
60,000.
60,000. Very good. It occurs, I think, how many times? Once,
1, 2, 3, 4,
twice,
5, 6 times, sir.
4, 5, 6 times, and the largest time, right? No other number is occurring 6 times. So it is the mode. Okay. Okay. Now we will move to grouped data. So some of you are asking. So another set of formula will come now. Okay. So only one set we have got. So the next set of formula will come. So can anybody tell me what is the difference between grouped data and ungrouped data? What is grouped data and what is ungrouped data? Yes, Saurabh?
So group data shows value for a interval of data.
Yes, and ungrouped?
Ungrouped for a particular value, for a particular category.
Right. Any
Sir,
other
I am
opinion?
unable to explain it clearly.
I understand.
In group we get intervals.
In group we have intervals, right?
Intervals.
Yeah. Any other opinion? What is grouped and what is ungrouped data? Yes. Yes. You can unmute and tell. Yes, Yashi.
Data lies between a particular range. There is a range between like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, like that. And ungrouped data is like only a series of numbers.
Yeah, very good, Yashi. Yes. All of you, I think the whole class is clear. What is a group data and what is a ungrouped data. So far, whatever I discussed for what? Grouped or ungrouped data? I discussed for
Ungroup.
ungrouped data.
Ungrouped data.
So another set of formulas are coming for group data. So for group data, what is the formula of mean? Okay. So arithmetic mean, all of you pay your attention. Arithmetic mean of grouped data is x bar equals sigma f into m by n. Okay, so x bar is the designation for the sample mean, m is the midpoint, of each class. Already you know during your this foundation class you have studied frequency distribution, right? So f is the frequency in each class. F into m is the frequency into multiplied by the midpoint. Sigma fm is the sum of this products, and n is the total number of frequency, right? So very simple formula. Sigma f into m divided by n. So if, so let us calculate one. So if my data is like this, suppose if my data is like this is a group data or ungrouped data?
Group data.
This is a
Data.
group data. Group data. Very good. Very good. So if, so just I will show you the steps, right? How to calculate. So this is a frequency distribution, and we need to calculate the mean of this frequency distribution, right? So how to calculate? We'll apply the formula sigma f into m divided by n. So if you see, this is our data. If you see this, our data is this f into m, right? What is m? M is the midpoint of each class. So 15 to 18. 15 is the lower limit and 18 is the upper limit. So average of 18 and 15 is 16.5. Okay. In this way, you have to take the or calculate all the midpoints, and then you have to calculate the f into m. Okay. So is this clear, right?
Sir, if
Yes.
f is not given, how can we calculate f?
No, f will be always given.
It will
See,
be ungrouped then.
if it is ungrouped data, we will use the other formula, right? If it
Okay.
is group data, this frequency will always be given, Shushan. Okay. So m is the midpoint, 16.5. So this we can easily calculate. What is the formula of midpoint? Lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So it is 15 plus 18 divided by 2. So it is
16.5.
16.5. Okay, into m. F into m. So 8 into 16.5. How much it is? 132. Okay. Then 23 into 19.5 and so on. You can just 17 into 22.5. Take all the product and then we take the sum. Okay. So we can calculate. So x bar is equal to sigma f into m. Now look, this sigma f m is nothing but how much? It is 1845.0. So 1845 by 8. Why 80? Our n is 80, right? So 23.1. Clear? So that is our mean for grouped data. Okay, that is our mean for grouped data. So let us go for the median of grouped data. I'm stopping sharing this. Let's go for this one, I think. Yeah. This one. Where is this? Okay, this is PowerPoint. Just 1 minute. Show all windows. Yeah, this one. Share screen. Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us study the median. Okay, let us study the formula of median, and we will stop for the this one first session. So median. So what is median for group data? Ungroup data we have seen, but for grouped data, should I make it larger? Yeah. So this is the formula for the median of grouped data. So what is the formula? N plus 1 by 2 minus F plus 1 divided by Fm multiplied by W plus Lm, where Lm is the lower limit of the median class, Fm is the frequency of the median class. Capital F, please note, capital F is cumulative frequency up to the lower limit of the median class. Okay, and W is width of the class interval, and N is total frequency. Okay, so this is the formula. Already we did a problem yesterday. So Lm is, I again repeat, Lm is lower limit of the median class, right? So what will be your first job? First job will be to find the median class and then locate the lower limit. Then Fm is frequency of the median class. Very simple. Once we locate, then we can easily locate the frequency. Capital F is cumulative frequency. It's not frequency. See, there is difference between cumulative frequency and frequency. Frequency up to the lower limit of the median class, and W is width of the class interval, N is total frequency. Okay, so I think we are we need to stop here now. Any question regarding median? I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please share this word file with QuickForce?
Yeah,
This
I
word
will
file and
share all
QuickForce
the
method.
material.
Because you have not done it till now, sir.
Yeah, I will share the material. Okay, I will share my PPT as well as my this one also.
So this word file.
Word file, yes. So yeah, so let me stop for any questions now. So we are in between. We are yet to complete the central tendency. A little bit we'll again take up. Yeah, any question in the meantime? Whatever we have covered. Please ask question from which I have covered. Yes, any question?
Sir, one small question. Sir, when we say
Yes.
frequency, sir, what does it mean? Sir, what
Yeah,
is frequency?
very good question. You should actually have a very clear idea. See, frequency. Let me give you an example. See, let me open my pen brush. Yes. Can I complete start in the next, because it will takes
Okay, sir.
5-6 minutes. So I will explain. I will start with this your question only, right? Very good question. Any other question by the meantime? Let me take. After we come back, I will start with this question only.
Sir, what is width of the class interval?
Width of the class is very simple. It is upper limit of the class minus lower limit of the class. Very simple. You write down upper limit of the class minus lower limit of the class. And I will take Sushant's question first, right? Yeah. Any more questions? I hope it is clear. The concepts are clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no need of writing. I will give you all the slides and PPT and everything. So don't worry. Just listen to the session. It will fair enough, and you will certainly get good marks. Okay. Okay, so I think we can stop here and for 15 minutes and then again we'll start. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sir, who is the ZA? Hello?